So to conclude this video, I have a few slides from the Sugar the Bitter Truth video. Here are the rates of diabetes in the US in adults. In 1958 it was about 1%. By 1985 it had tripled, and by 2007 it had tripled again. Now 10% of US adults have type 2 diabetes. This is a major health problem and a huge economic problem. We are clearly poisoning ourselves and our bodies by the type of diets that Western agriculture has developed. And again, it's important to remember that it's only until recently in history where food scarcity was the major concern. To address this, agriculture mechanized, became more efficient, did everything they could to extract more foodstuffs from cultivatable land. But we have to learn to adjust to this a society where food is in excess. If you watch that video and take its message to heart, you will live longer and healthier, guaranteed. Here's one of the very surprising facts from the video. Although well-intentioned, there was a huge public policy campaign to reduce the amount of fat in people's diets because it was assumed that high-fat diets were the major culprit in heart disease. And that campaign was pretty successful. Around 1970, the average person got about 40% of their calories from fat, and now 30 years after that, it was down to about 35%, and now it's even a little lower. However, this decreasing the amount of fat in our diet did not coincide with healthier outcomes. Obesity rose, although heart disease has decreased somewhat. But in concentrating on fat, what Dr. Lustig argues is that we were targeting the wrong culprit for the epidemic of metabolic disease in this country. In randomized trials, people have shown that curtailing sugar, in this case only by limiting soft drinks, is that obesity in children and teens has decreased or remained steady over a period where a control group, which was allowed to drink soft drinks, obesity increased significantly. And this is only in 12 months. I know it's a bit of a bummer to hear, but you should not be drinking any sugary drinks. The problem, it turns out, is mostly the molecule fructose, which when we eat table sugar, or this sugar that's in sodas, it's mostly in the form of sucrose, which is one molecule of glucose and one molecule of fructose. It's a disaccharide. We cleave it here, we get 50-50. As the video makes clear, glucose is metabolized effectively by humans, but it's the fructose that tastes so much sweeter, and that's what's basically the poison for humans. If you could come up with 100% glucose sweetener which was sweet enough to our taste buds, that would be fantastic. But unfortunately, glucose is not perceived as sweet enough by humans. As you know, we can increase the fructose beyond the 50% that's present in sucrose by the production of high fructose corn syrup, which is now the major sweetener in processed foods. High fructose corn syrup, the process for making it was developed in the 1960s. It started entering into the food supply in the 1970s, and you can see the havoc that it has wrought. Fructose is damaging in many different ways, and many of these details are beyond what will go in this course, though listen to him when he talks in the video about it. But fructose produces glycation end products. This is a modification of proteins which causes them to work poorly. Fructose is invisible to the body's system for satiety and energy maintenance, so it doesn't suppress the hunger hormone, ghrelin, doesn't stimulate insulin production, and these are things the body needs, that it's evolved over eons to deal with high carbohydrate food sources like glucose. Glucose will do these things, and that's why your body can handle glucose. Fructose is invisible, essentially, to the body's metabolic control system, and so the body can't compensate for fructose intake. And fructose exposure has been shown to greatly increase metabolic syndrome, which is a precursor for diabetes. Thank you for listening.